Hello, Chirag. Uh, are we audible?
Yes. Are we
Yeah,
live?
Chirag, you can start. We are live. Yeah.
Okay. So I welcome everyone to this webinar on open source. So the agenda or aim of the session is to help you get started with open source. We are really happy to see you and have you today in this session. We have already conducted orientation session for few batches, and we are very happy to see such enthusiastic group of people with us. It literally motivates us a lot. So without further delay, let's begin with the session. So myself, Chirag Agrawal, one of the program managers of GWalk, would like to welcome Gourav Sharma. He is an associate solution architect at Red Hat by profession. He has his YouTube channel name Cheers with Gaurav. He is a Red Hat solution architect and instructor with broad technical and training experience in Linux and open source technologies. We are delighted to have you and we welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Chirag, my friend. I hope everybody is doing good, great. Some familiar names to be seen. यार ये मतलब I am feeling like overwhelmed to see these names again and again. Having said that, I don't know uh, whether I'm worthy of it or not. Why you guys made so much of hype that I am doing this and that? But having said that, yes, for all the people who don't know me, yeah, I work for Red Hat and I work as a solution architect where my job responsibility is to guide the partners that how they can uplift themselves. But yes, that is by profession. And by passion, I love to interact with people more. YouTube is just one of the things that I love to pursue. But main objective or always being the main agenda for my life, or I should say for me, it has always been one thing, that to spread right words amongst you, to plant that seed, uh, that can nurture well by the guidance people like Anuba who has started Girl Script. And I can't thank enough her, because many of my connections, you every single day you woke up with a new hope, and Girl Script is doing something amazing task on the other side. So I'm always overwhelmed to see the enthusiasm that Anuba and her team brings to the table. So does the Mohit, and all you people as the chapter leader or the program manager of Girl Script Winter, or I should say Girl Script Summer, or all the programs. So I'm glad to be interacted with all the winners and achievers today. I don't think that these people or who all are joining us live, uh, I can teach them or I can give my valuable advice. I don't know whether I'm capable if it or not. But yes, I'm addressing to winners and achievers today. So please bombard with the questions. As much as questions you will give me, I'll be more than happy to answer them up. So Chirag, what do you want me to help you with, or what I should say? Tell me on your command. Okay.
Okay, so for
Yeah.
this beginning, just tell us what is open source and how we can start learning it.
Open source, right? I guess this name is quite familiar to everyone. What is open source? So let's don't talk about the Google language. What definition of open source is? So according to me, open source is everywhere. You go here and there, or wherever you go, you can find open source around you. Even if you see, just split your head around, and you can find plenty of options that is around you talking about open source. One of the example I just had of water. How many of you would agree that water is also an open source? How many of you would agree that water is open source? I can see some acknowledgement coming in the chat. Yes, water is open source. So why we are paying to all these distilleries and evocators or Aquafina and other parts? you know that's the beauty of open sources. Everyone knows, or if I'll ask you to define open source as one word, everybody will keep on coming up and say, which is the thing which is free is open source. That is actually correct, but also wrong at the same time. Thing is, open source, when it comes to the thing, this word free, because of this English language, we are a bit confused. When you talk about open source and this free stands for freedom. So the people which you are talking about source code, another, I'll jump onto the same. So the thing is, when we talk about open source, yes, open source gives you that freedom to use the source code. A thing is, if I take the example of water, some people just simply said it in the what I should say, the comments, that yes, water is having this source code formula which is called H2O. Now, what is this H2O? Somebody gave us this universal formula. People who are working at Bisleri, Aquafina, Evoquus, Ivan, XYZ vendors, all the distributors tried to add some flavor of theirs into it, and they started charging. Because freedom definitely doesn't mean that you cannot charge. So it totally depends on individual, that how you want to take it. So if I can, let me just check if I can have a slide to make it more like understood to all of you. I would love to take this example. So there was a this concept which was already in the market, and this was going on well. Somebody like you and me, they just simply came onto the part and they said, we want to do this and that. So I request the team to just, can you please add this screen to the show so that people can easily see it. Okay, so here it is. So now, this developer sitting over here, this was the person who understood that H2O was something which can create wonders. Water can create wonders. He identified that, if I add some minerals to it, if I add some chemical to it, if I'll add something to it, there will be a great part that I can easily work with. So he kept that compiled program, or I should say, let's take an example of Bisleri if it is first. So Bisleri people took the source code of H2O, added their own flavor to it, and they keep it to themselves. But they still let the H2O developed by others also. And that's where Aquafina, Evoquus, Evan, and many other Bisleris variants, everything came in. Reason being, the person, we need not to even worry who has given us this source code. This source code became the vastly improved source code. So thing is, there is a difference between open source softwares and the free open source software. So companies work in two ways, or the enterprise world works in two ways. One is where people gives you the freedom to use the software in absolutely free of cost way, which is called open source softwares. Second is free open source softwares, where people have a business goal towards it, that people will say that, you use it, but definitely we will be going to charge for the support. We take the ownership for that support. That is where the exact meaning of open source comes in. Open source give you the freedom to change the source code, to modify the source code and use it as per your understanding. On the other side, open source also doesn't stop you, that whatever way you want to use it, you use it. It totally depends on you. If you want to charge it, use it. If you don't want to charge it, it's also up to you. So I hope you are now clear with the perspective that what is exactly the open source is all about. Yeah. Any other question, Chirag, or anyone from the team? Yeah, Gaurav.
Yeah, sir. Sir,
Hmm.
can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, sir. Sir, as you said in the open source, in the world of open source, we commonly hear about Git and GitHub. So, would you like to
Right.
introduce that terminology to everyone?
Right. So Git and GitHub is definitely nowadays becoming so much popular. But before Git and GitHub, I want to ask you all, who invented GitHub? Who invented GitHub? knows it? Microsoft. Watsal. This is not correct, man. For sure, it was not. Isha and many other people, Isha, Kanish, they are saying, Pragati also mentioned, Akash mentioned, Linus Torvalds. So, what was the other contribution? Yes, absolutely correct. It was Linus Torvalds who introduced Git to us. But what was that other product that Linus Torvalds gives to the world apart from Git? What was the other thing that Linus Torvalds gave to the world? It was apart from Git. Linux. Now people are talking about kernel. So yes, Tanveer has a correct answer. It was Linux kernel. Now, thing is, Linux reward gives us, first of all, he produces this part called Linux. And Linux is not an operating system. Linux is a kernel. Now, having said that, what was the thing that was bothering Linux towards that if I give this thing to the society, what will be the challenge I'll be facing? Now, thing was the most important, and what I should say, the most and the foremost important part is people always wonder about that Linux Torvald has given us this freedom to use the Linux kernel. We start developing Orano. Linux Torvald was happy that okay, you use it, but how he'll keep the track? Let's take an example. Let's Gaurav was also here. So Gaurav, can you come up on the screen, please? Let's have that fun chat going on. So let's say
Yes.
Gaurav, you and me are working in a project. We decided to create a directory inside our laptop or in a common drive somewhere on the cloud. I created the first draft. Okay, you came in the night, you started working further, but on the go, you realize that Gaurav has made it. Gaurav has committed some of the mistakes. I'll change it. Now, you edited some changes. Now, what will be your best practice that you will follow to add your work or to proceed further?
Okay, sir. So
What you
first
will
of all, before doing any changes, I'll make sure my branch is updated. So I'll take a pull from the if I'm
don't
working
move the
on.
branch. I'm saying we have just created a drive. I have
Okay.
kept a file, and in that
Mhm.
file we are just making the changes. That's all. There is only one
Okay.
file. What you will do now?
So I'll add my changes along with
You
yours.
will add your
So
changes. So let's say we have identified A, B, C, D tasks. So there will be four tasks that we are going to do. I have completed A, and I went out. You came back, you saw that I have said that I have completed A, but out of curiosity, you checked it back and you found some error. Now, what you will do? You will proceed with B task, or you will correct the A task, or what you are going to do?
so I'll try to correct the task. If I'm able to correct, then I'll proceed. Else, I'll move on to the next task.
Yes. So let's say in this case, you identified that yes, you can do it. That means you can create this task A correct. You corrected it. Now, what will be the steps you will do? You will just go to my file and you change it, right?
Mhm.
And you will start
Yes.
proceeding further. That okay, this is the step B that I'm going to take it up and I'm going to do it. Yes or no?
Yes, sir. I can make a copy of also and can my
Yes,
proceed
yes,
my work
yes.
further.
Exactly. You will make a copy of it. Absolutely. You did a copy. Now,
Now I will work on my copy, so, and I'll
yeah,
show it to you.
right. So now what happened in the night time? You completed step B and C. Now I came into the room. You were also there. You just simply mentioned me. Gaurav, you have made some mistakes in the step A. I have corrected it, and now I'm going out to take it further. I went back to the step A, and as per my understanding, I was knowing that no, this was your bad understanding. So I recorrected the correct A and I started proceeding further. And without looking at B and C work, I completed the D. Okay, situation is clear.
Okay. Hmm.
Now we went to Anubha, our very own famous honor of Girl Script. We went to Anubha and submitted up. Now what will Anuba see?
She will be seeing yours changes that you have done, irrespective of what my changes were.
No, no, no. She will just simply see step A, B, C, D done.
Yeah, definitely.
First will be that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
First will be.
how she will be able to understand who has done which step?
Literally, she has no way to just look and identify who has done those stuff.
She has no idea exactly, because even we were getting confused how she will be able to understand. Okay, let's say we created a file and we'll specify that we will do this, that, and this. This is like step A was done by Gaurav, means me, Gaurav Sharma, and step B and C was done by Gaurav Das, and step D was done by Gaurav. Okay, this can make
Yes.
sure that okay, Gaurav Sharma has done step A and step D. Gaurav Das has completed step B and step C. If she needs to connect with both of us, or if she identifies some mistakes, how she will tell us? Either she has to document it, or she has to call us individually and then she has to do it. So you can understand there is a whole bunch of issues coming up. This is exactly the situation was with Linus Torvald. He released a compiled program. He shared the open source code with us, and we all were making our changes on our own, because that what the freedom is all about. Everybody was making the changes. Nobody was able to track who made the changes, when he or she made the changes, how the changes were going to get saved. Did somebody has created a copy? If somebody has created a copy, how I can pull that changes only? Otherwise, let's say if there is a 4 GB file, you downloaded a 4 GB file, you made a change, you upload the 4 GB file again. Now to merge this first 4 GB file with the another changed 4 GB file, this was a mess. And to handle the kernel, this was becoming a lot of challenged problem itself. And that's where Linux Torvald came into the picture of Git, which is called distributed version control system. So, what me and Gaurav were trying to discuss was nothing but a very simple example of version control system. What is this version control system? This is exactly we all have been doing. Like in our laptops, we simply create our files where we just simply go start creating our name file like Gaurav 1. Then, if you need to make a copy, we'll make Gaurav 2. We'll do all the changes. Once the changes are accepted, then we'll just simply say Gaurav final. Still we are not able to understand till when time who has created the changes, who has done the changes, how it is being done, and many other things. To become active, we started coming up with this thing called distributed version control system, and that's where we called as Git, because Git give us this flexibility that you just copy my source code, you make the changes on your own. If you feel that okay, this change need to be merged or this change need to be addressed, you reach back to me, you come to me, and you just simply say that hey, this change need to be addressed, and that's where we can help you going further. This was something. Now Git was again the what I should say, command line interface and command line commands. Over on the top, that's where we got the GitHub, the GUI manager as well. So GitHub, in a way, it is nothing but an extension, or I should say, uh, a company, first of all, which provides you this internet hosting for the software development and the version control system using Git. So basically, your Git repositories are being maintained. So GitHub is an entire organization in which multiple tasks are being happening. If they are giving one service as a Git, as a version control system to use and deploy these managed services code to you, again with a nice dashboard, some new pipeline functions are coming up, different services are there. So for a student to get started with version control system, I would say not GitHub, it should be Git first. So go ahead and check out Git first rather than just simply going and jumping onto the GitHub. Yeah, I hope that makes sense, Gaurav. If you have any other thing, just let me know, please.
Yes, sir, perfectly. Like that's what the contributor should know, and that's what you explained very beautifully.
Or
So, sir,
even
I would
let's say,
like.
sorry, Gaurav,
Yes, sir.
to interrupt. Like,
Yes.
even if you just talked about contribution, so we are just talking about winter of contribution. Let's say Gaurav Das has created one project. He gave it to you. That, guys, can you please test a bug in this? Every one of you, let's say 500 people were there, every one of you jumped onto that bug. Everybody has their own way of understanding. You, me, all different, sees the world in a very different way. Now, somebody might be also alike. Everybody started contribution. Let's assume in the entire project there was only one bug. But you know what this change got created? Everybody restarted raising their request. That's where I say that while you do the contribution or while you make some changes, there should be some etiquettes that you need to follow. If Gaurav has created something, every single open source has some standard etiquettes that you need to follow. So before you jump onto the contributions, I would highly recommend you all to go through this open source etiquettes. So team, if you can just flash my screen on the show so that anybody can see it. You know, these are the recommended open source etiquettes. Very first thing, if there is a documentation, read it. Let's assume Gaurav Das has created a project. He will definitely give you that synopsis or a README file, a clear instruction that this particular process or this particular thing I have created this way. This project is meant for this people, and that's why I have created this documentation. Read it and then start contribution to it. Second, look at the existing issue before opening up a new. Let's assume Chirag was the first one who addresses that issue. He raised the issue. Check out that part first. Check out that thing that, okay, this is already there. Now I have to proceed further. If the issue is identified and you are also attempting in the same way, it is already there. Try to use your inputs to improve it more rather than creating another issue. Or you have gone through another step or via another route. That's where you can create another issue, or I should say report another bug. So let's say in this case you are trying to create another bug, then please provide as much as info you can. Now Gaurav Das is expecting you all to give him as much as information you can so that he can guide you better. So let's say Gaurav has created something in Python and he's expecting you to revert in Python, not in C, Java, or XYZ things, right? So there will be some contribution guidelines to a project. You need to follow them up. First of all, you follow all those guidelines and then you start reporting a bug. And while reporting the bug, clearly step by step mention that, I have tested this process in this way. This is how I taken the things forward, and this is the way it is going to go ahead. And trust me, people, be empathetic and understanding. Open source is all about us. We all have a freedom to do the things in our way. So please be empathetic and understanding, be in a collaborate and corporate way, because everybody is doing the things with their own availability, with the free of cost time, or whatever you can say. It might takes time in the open source world to get your problem addressed. Sometime I have addressed, like, even it doesn't take more than like 4 to 5 hours or 2 to 3 days, but sometime I have even seen to get the issue resolved it has taken months. But at least the problem is getting addressed. I believe everybody need to say thanks. So somebody has given something free of cost to you. So be empathetic and understanding that somebody is doing something good for you. And also, you all, many of you might be the first timers. So I would say these two websites, I can flash the screen up back again. And these website, I highly recommend you all to visit: upforgrabs.net and issueshub.io. Just go to these two websites and half of your challenges will be easily resolved. They have a very, very nice structure way of addressing the issues. They have made this process very much simple for every one of you to make the things going and working for you. You can easily go ahead. You can, just like what I should say, you can easily, even like, you can identify the issue basis on your skill sets. Let's say I know HTML first, you know React first, somebody knows Java first. You just go onto these websites, select your skill sets, select your domain, and with the help of that particular part also, you can easily start working on the beginner friendly issues. These two websites give you those first issues, first commit issues, which can be easily resolved, to give you the essence that okay, in this way the issues need to be addressed in the real world project. So please go ahead and start searching about these two things. So these two websites I highly recommend to anyone who just go ahead and want to learn about open source. Then before I jump on to my next topic, let me just pull up the screen back again. There is a whole bunch of programs that are running in the real world. Talking about some of the open source contests, one of the most famous among all is Girl Script Summer of Code. Now we have again another which is called Girl Script Winter of Contribution, that I need to make some space to mention it. But do take the screenshot of this particular screen, guys. Go ahead and check out all these programs which are available. Some of them might be retired, but having said that, you all can go ahead and check these things out. Like Outreach is for girls, gives you nice stipend also. Ruby Google Summer of Code is there. Google Summer of Code is there. Red Hat Open Source Contest is there. Even if you talk about there are new a few of the programs that are being offered by Linux Foundation. If you need these slides, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or on Twitter, and I can give it to you as per your request. So because there are few sliders that I have not going to show you, but definitely these information I can easily share it with you. So just let me know on LinkedIn or on Twitter. Just ping me that hey, I have attended a Girl Script program of a session of yours, and I need this slide, and I can give it to you. But my point of talking about these contests is one, you will understand the real world projects. Second, you will also get to know people like you, because we are targeting the community. All these programs are being highly participated by a lot of people around the globe. So just go ahead and start networking them. I have believed always in one saying that network is your net worth. So start talking about the people, like-minded people. Go ahead and start talking to them that this is something is there. So that can also help you in understanding better of projects. There will be some people who knows you and they can easily help you with that. So just go ahead and start with one. And I guess what the team Girl Script is doing, they already help you to get start with. So Girl Script, I have recommended I don't know how many of the people, and they have shown some amazing results. Talking about Soumya, talking about Anshika, talking about your chapter leaders from Jammu Mohit or Chirag or now Gaurav Das or Shrishti or many other folks and people like you who actively participate. I guess everybody is doing something great job, right? So yeah. So Gaurav, what is the next thing that I can help you with? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, would you like to say something about the benefits of contributing to open source and what are the perks for the students?
Benefits. Oh my God. Do you know, if I ask you, let me show you what is the, I should say, I should not so, but let's talk about the legacy condition of the softwares. How one can improve themselves. How one can improve themselves. Let's talk about Gaurav Das. So, Gaurav, what are the challenges you face in your life?
Sir, improvement is a challenge. Like if I want to
Improvement.
learn something. Yeah.
Definitely, it is the biggest challenge of anybody's life. So, if may I ask you in this way, that can you identify all the changes that you need in your life on your own?
No, sir.
Absolutely no. Why?
Because I only know I'll be able to say about certain things only that I
Right.
like actively my mind is conscious about. So there are so many things that I am not even conscious about. So I won't be able to say about them.
So, Ishu Ranjan has brought down a right point that if we want to improve ourselves, we need feedback. Absolutely right or wrong? We all need feedback. So does the project also need it. So if you know that, let's say you and me, if we need some feedback where we need to go, we all need to go to the community. right? We all need to go to the people to ask them to that, hey, you can help me in this way or that way. So that's what also project help us. When we are going to the project, or when the people check out our projects, they see the project in a very different way. Like if you ask me that, Gaurav, this is the road which is going to like, let's say, to some place, step A or step B, you would say just simply this road is going this way. I would see that surroundings, I would see some place, I would see the animals going on, I would see some bumper on that road, or whatever it is. Everybody has a different objective, or everybody have the different skill sets, everybody is unique in their thinking. So what people does, people think that, this is something different it is going on, so that you can also improve. So the biggest benefit for anyone in this world contributing to open sources, upliftment of that particular project. That's the reason everybody asks you that, please provide us the honest feedback, because feedback is that gift that anybody can use it, and post that they can easily improve it also. So yeah. Yeah.
Yes, sir, definitely. Like I have been myself contributing to open source for around 2 years, and I can see massive improvement in my understanding the code base and also collaboration and all. So it's
Yes,
definitely a
you are
wonderful
also
thing.
trying to understand na, ki what different people are doing in the industry. You cannot
Yes.
selfly understand that, I'm just going to do this and that's done. No, it is not possible, man. So yeah.
Definitely. Sir,
Yes.
people, there are a lot of things that people understand. They read
Right.
in books and stuff. That's how people get to know about something. Let's say from this session, many people get to know about open source. But would you like to say how one can start? Like how did you start it when you were in college, or what was your first contribution?
So if you ask me, what I did in the college, like, you know, every one of you would be going in this phase that when we used to join in our college, when this pandemic was not there, and in the first year there were a lot of training programs or workshop used to happen, and I used to attend every single workshop that was conducted by my college. So the very first workshop that I attended in my college was of cyber security, ethical hacking. I was so joyful that I can easily crack the this what I should say, the Facebook passwords. I can easily crack the software. I need not to go to here and there places. I can do on my own. But that was only the tool based things that you learn. Slowly I understood that, tool can last for 1 day, 2 day, or 3 day. How I'm going to sustain with it? And all the next days I understood, okay, I need to learn the basics. And that's where I saw this particular code which I can display on the screen, and I fall in love with it immediately. If you flash my screen up, you will be able to see this particular screen. Linux is everywhere. This just blew off my mind. This just blew off my mind. That how Linux can be everywhere. So this was the time of 2012, and I understood, Linux is everywhere. But where is this everywhere? I first of all discovered that the headphone or the the mobile phones that we were using, they all are smartphones and they are based on kernel. And kernel mean Linux might be a unified version of Linux. At this point of time, there are 1.4 billion active users. They are using the Linux Android based mobile phones. Then I started learning about supercomputers. Okay, supercomputers. 99% of world's top supercomputer are running on Linux as well. If you talk about stock exchange, the best is 80% of world stock exchange are learning on Linux. That means money making also happen on Linux. Then I was also wondering, 80%? I joined Red Hat in 2017 and I understood one more thing. India's national stock exchange is the fastest stock exchange in the world that is running on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And that case study is even there live on the public. You just go to redhat.com/success stories and you can easily search it. And I was like, okay, this is something next level. My curiosity become more exciting, that okay, I want to know more. Best part was I started discovering about one more. Let me just share the screen back. I started seeing this slide, space, that Linux has gone where no man has gone before. How it can be? I was wondering, and I started seeing this, that even SpaceX is also using Linux to build their spacecrafts. I was like, okay, this is crazy. And a recent study says that more than 32 plus space missions are also being completed by the Linux. NASA's Curiosity rover is also built on Linux, that is discovering Mars. So I was wondering, like, people haven't reached to Mars, but Linux has. That is the capability of open source. But my curiosity becomes more and more, and I started searching it. Movies everybody loves, and all these animations, visual effects that we see, they are also being rendered on Linux operating system. Even if you talk about Titanic, you know, Titanic was the first featured film that was produced on Linux operating system. Even the least screws, this was a study that was being done in the MIT, and they said that it took 9100 computing render years to produce the least screws. Linux was everywhere. And then my started seeing in the transportation industry. I was always fascinated by the flying aircrafts and these moving metro trains or bullet trains. And Linux is also available there, whether controlling the US traffics, air traffic, or controlling the bullet trains in Japan, or handling the smartest traffic management in UK. Linux is everywhere. The best part was you can see all these company names, they all are using Linux operating system. Let me give you a very small example. Every one of you must have visited McDonald's. You know the screen that you see to display on the display that is flashed with the orders, that is also using a Linux distribution called Ubuntu. NASA, Tesla, Microsoft, Google. Even Microsoft recently came out with that code, right? Microsoft love open source. Your Netflix, everybody is crazy about Linux nowadays. I would say Netflix is also using it. All your networking component, Cisco is the biggest vendor. Again, Linux. BSC and NSC we just talked about. Airtel, the service provider here in India. IBM, State Bank of India, HDFC, Tata Communication, Datacom, DBS, ASX, Indigo, Vistara, Aadhaar card, our unique identity. Everyone is being powered by Linux. So Gaurav has just asked me that what was the thing that came to your mind when you started? Yes, this was the thing when I started learning about Linux, and that made my first contribution in Fedora, which was one of the distribution in Linux. Now, how I did it, I just started simply discovering about Fedora kernel, and I understood one of the bugs, and I reported it via Bugzilla, and that where it worked well. Now, at that time I was not aware about of Git or GitHub, but then I understood, I need Git, I need some tool because I want to do something on my own. So Git, and somebody also asked a question, Git is a software where GitHub is a service. Git was that command line tool which was required for an admin to make all the changes, where GitHub give you that GUI, a graphical user interface. Now, Git can easily be installed on my local system, while GitHub has the limitation to be hosted on the web. Even the Git is focused on the version control system and the sharing part, where your GitHub give you the centralized source code hosting. Like GitHub, as I said, Git, I just said that it can be hosted on your local machine, so it can help you to improve the source code. On the other side, if I talk about GitHub give you that controlled repository, that a centralized repository, you all can come and contribute to it. In backend, again, the GitHub is the core. Now, Git, where you are helping, or Git is a VCS, which is version control system, to maintain the code source history. GitHub is giving you that service to host those Git repositories. While Git was released way back in 2005, GitHub was just there, came in 2008 or something. Git don't have any user management feature. And that's where the GitHub came onto the market with the user management feature. So this is how the difference I understood, that okay, I have to work something while sitting on my flight or going somewhere. That's where the Git was important. GitHub, where I have to upload my entire work to the public repo that somebody can else also access, that's where the GitHub was required. So I hope these are some the big like chunks, or I should say the changes that I can easily identify and I can help you with, that why you should do GitHub. I hope that is understood.
Yeah, thank you
Anyone?
so much, sir. That was really extensive. The way you explained how it has impacted you and how you have used. So it's really pretty commendable. Sir, I would like to ask you some of the advices you would like to give to the college
Please.
students. So, like, what advice you would like to give them so that they can continue learning and then they can continue exploring different things throughout the problems that they have. Like,
Don't run here
the
and there.
problem, yeah, sir, like problem is that like they get exposure to a lot of things together. So what advice you want to give so that they can focus on one thing at a time, or what's your point of view regarding that?
So first thing, Gaurav, you would agree to it. Come on the screen, man. Man, I don't want to be on the screen alone. So
Sure, sir.
understand this, and no problem. So first thing is, don't try to go here and there. Don't run behind certifications. Don't try to attend as much as training you can. Focus on one thing. Start exploring. I won't stop you to do the exploring, right? Everybody can follow the passion until unless your profession is done. Otherwise it will start becoming burden. When I know that okay, I have done something good in profession, I know how I can keep the balance in my profession, now I can start working on my passion. That thing you need to understand. Now first thing is, start exploring the things. Everybody need not to work on coding only. There are a whole plenty of option inside the world which is available. One. Second, for exploring, start networking. Networking, I doesn't mean by doing this thing called Cisco routers and switches. No. Networking means start talking to the professionals. Now, how I should. Let's take the same example of today's session. How many of you have sent me the request on LinkedIn? Follow up. How many of you have sent me a request by a personalized message? Gaurav, what choice you would take?
Definitely the second one, which will explain how passionate I am in connecting with you and getting to know
Why?
the work that you are doing.
Why you would choose the second one? Try to
Yeah,
explain
sir.
a bit.
Because if I am connecting with you, so
Mhm.
definitely I am inspired by the work that you are doing. So I'd love to
Right,
know, and I would love to tell about that, and then I would love to know something that I all don't know that I want to know from you.
right. So I just saw one of the person asking. I don't know who asked it, but many of you did request, and I have accepted everybody's. But on the other side, if you ask me, those requests with the personalized text will create more impact. Reason being, that person, that individual is trying to make a personal relation with you. Now, if your question is that, hey Gaurav, how I should network, go to someone, express yourself need why you are making that connection. Just connection would just take that one hit, you just go and hit that button and it's done. No, what you should do is you should go tell them who you are. What is the reason I'm connecting with you? What is the thing I'm expecting from you? And automatically you have placed the other person in such a way that they will revert you with the personalized text. Getting my point? I hope that definitely make a lot of sense. Like somebody standing on the stage, hey Gaurav, we want to click a selfie with you. Why? Because I want to post it on social media and I want to gain some like. Just as an example, if I would have been at a celebrity place, I want to join Girl Script Winter of Contributing. Why? Because I love open source. I want to contribute. I can help it. Hey, I want to connect to you because I found something on your headline that resonate with my skill sets. Can we network with each other? Can we understand that I want to work like this? You have an industry experience. Can you please guide me on this? This messages, these all examples that I gave it to you, that creates a curiosity of the other person inside you, that oh, I also want to know about you, right? So importance of network is that other person would have been a different place, and they will be like what I should say, they will be interested in reverting you with something personalized also. So that is where the people will start understanding you more, and automatically you start building a connection with them. A personal connection makes you more liable. And then don't be like just connect with the people. I always say to my things that if let's say on LinkedIn, if you found down one or two what I should say connection common connections, don't send the request until unless you know that person individually. If you know that person individually, it's okay, but if you don't know, don't accept everybody's request. Or if don't send anybody a request. But if you're sending send your request with some expectations. I always follow this, that if I'm sending somebody a request, I'll just simply always send them that hey, this is the purpose I'm connecting with you. Because every single connection, every single talk need a purpose. If I would have been here, you can easily ask the girl script team that I can present a slideshow and I'll just go with it and that's done. But that is nowhere gonna help you. Understand this fact, Gaurav. When you are trying to interact with somebody, if you are trying to understand somebody, one thing makes a lot of difference. Let me share the screen back, and this is something you all would agree. You also come up, you try to answer with me. Having said that, ca- you can identify this picture on the screen.
I can see a lion.
Yes, you can see a lion. So my question is, why lion is a king of jungle? Why? Why lion is considered as a king of jungle?
More powerful.
More powerful. Okay. My follow-up thing is lion is the heaviest one?
No.
Who is?
Elephant.
Elephant? Yes, absolutely. Is lion is the smartest one?
No.
Who is?
Mm, uh,
As cunning
what can I
as?
say?
We are in open source. I'll help you. As cunning as fox, right?
Fox. Okay, okay.
Yes. मतलब हम बचपन वाली बातें भी करेंगे ना साथ साथ, तो we have to understand. Is lion
Yeah.
is the tallest one?
No.
No. Who is?
Giraffe.
Okay. Now understand, around you there will be a lot of people who are working for FAM, who are doing a lot of internship, who are selected in Girl Script Summer of Code, or who are selected in Google Summer of Code. There will be a lot of people who are working in Microsoft. Will be a lot of people who are working in Apple. There will be a lot of people who are delivering the talks and you are just sitting. There are a lot of people who have a great GitHub profile with all green, green, green boxes. Yes or no? There will be a lot of people who knows coding like anything. They have Code Chef, Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank, 5 star, 10 star, 20 star ratings. Yes or no? So Gaurav, you would agree? Yes or no?
Yeah, sir. Definitely. Like
Definitely,
we
there will
can
be people.
see, yeah, experts in all the domains that you have said.
Yes. So similar way, the lion is also having the competition being its heaviest, smartest, tallest. He is not, but still he is considered as a king of jungle. Reason being his attitude. There is a very famous saying that a group of goats or sheep is crossing the road, and you are sitting in a car. You would always blow the horn, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Even you will just come out of the window and say, hut, hut, hut. See it in a second way. A lion is standing in front of you, just one lion. You are inside the car. The very first impression would be, don't honk. Second impression, check the doors are closed or not. Third, check what is the smartest way to leave this place. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
His eyes, his roaring, his voice makes the difference. You know, everyone can be loyal on their own. Nobody needs to know everything about Git or GitHub or open source. Just be consistent in whatever the things you are doing. So people who have a like code chef or hacker earth or whatever ranking is absolutely fine. It's all good, no problem. But think how much consistent you are, how much consistent you can be throughout it. Don't mention on your LinkedIn profile being a student, aspiring this, aspiring that. That is not going to create a great impact on somebody else who is going to accept a connection request or who is trying to like make a connection with you. Have a clear call to action. Make a creative headline so that somebody read out your profile, they will immediately understand, oh, this is something he knows or this is something she knows. That is there. All courses are freely available on this planet. Open source give you that freedom to learn the things free. If somebody wants to start, I will just simply say go ahead, identify your skill set first, and second, start contributing to the open source project. Up4grabs.net and issueshub.io are the beginner friendly websites, and there are a lot of other websites which are available. Participate in the open source contest, start creating your own project, and automatically you will see the changes coming inside you, but it is going to take some time. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, would you like to take some questions from the chat also so that they get
Why
their
not?
doubts
Let's try to
clarified?
answer them all.
Yeah. I request everyone to give your doubts on the chat section, and we'll be picking the questions from there.
So was there any question how to get placed at Red Hat? So Muhammad Safan, first of all, this thing I can easily address and I want to clarify it also. There will be, I guess, drive which is going to happen in November, and some more support drives are already happening for Pune, which keep on happening. But thing is, here's the part. We accept at Red Hat, people generally accept the internship offers or the placement in your seventh and eighth semester only. Seventh and eighth semester only. Don't reach out to any Red Hat professional or any Red Hat people saying that I'm a first year or second year person and I want to do an internship. Even people will say you that you can do it, but you will automatically get rejection until and unless you have some amazing or a different skill sets altogether, which is exception one in million or billion. But otherwise people always at Red Hat we already accept in, especially in the software engineering, we only accept the people in seventh and eighth semester of their colleges. That's all. So if you want to get placed, just come up and do it that way. Yeah. Okay, Indian Nightbot. Oh my God. Can you please give me some tips about how to create our network, how one can grow in the community? When I try to do, I feel like everybody is expert, nobody will help me. I get demotivated. First of all, place a mirror in front of you, Indian Nightbot, and say that this person is great. You do it and automatically start thinking, don't compare yourself with somebody else. How you can compare yourself with someone? That is absolutely rubbish. That is absolutely rubbish. Secondly, yes, there will be some experts because they have devoted more time than you. Understand this part. If you ask me that, yes, I'm there in the industry from last 4.5 years, but prior to that I was also teaching for 4 years of my college. So I have definitely 8 years of experience teaching someone that okay, this and that needs to be done. So try to make that way. Secondly, the prior question, sorry Risha, I'll just take that question away in a minute. One thing is, when you are trying to build a network, don't always send the request to only the like-minded people. Try to take the feedback from others what they are trying to do in the community. If somebody has won the competition, let's say one person has got an internship at Google Summer of Code, rather than just going and clicking on that default option of congratulations, you should go and ask them that what was your will that you applied for Google Summer of Code, what was your experience, what were the challenges you faced. Automatically these learnings you won't repeat it back again. So that's the way to enrich your network as well. Reach out to them with the help, or reach out to them with your clear doubts that this is something I want to learn from you, this is something I want to know, that what is there that you have for me, that how you can help me. That's the thing. So might. Now the next question is, reach us how to make good PR so that it get accepted. There is nothing like good PRs or bad PRs. It's only the thing that project owner should be able to get the issues resolved. That's all I can say. There is nothing like good PR or bad PR. You do the work, you accept it, and that's done. For getting the acceptance, I can give you one advice is that follow the etiquettes that I just show in the open source. That if there is some documentation, read it properly. If you're trying to report a bug, if you're trying to make a successful PR, include the step information as much as you can. Otherwise, I have seen many of the open source project always have a clear call to action that if you want to get your PR merged, these are the steps you need to follow them up. Make the small synopsis, I would say, that okay, this is the way I have done it, and that might solve the challenge, and done. That's all. Is it good to be behind internship in second year or focus on improving skills more? Go behind the internship. No, no, Purva, you are not supposed to run behind the internship in the second year itself. Focus on improving the skills. Who might know that you might can easily land up in some amazing job where like something amazing can happen. So I would still say till third year, explore more and more. Explore more. Don't run behind the internship till third year. If you're getting, it's good. If you're not, don't get disheartened. Try to improve your skill as much as you can. That will be the best way I would say that you can work. Yeah. Is rudimentary knowledge or simple passion about the skill make you qualify for the open source contribution? In open source contribution, nobody identifies you that you have a basic level skill sets or a higher level skill set. No, there is no formula in the open source world that you should be at this age, this gender, this skill sets. Nothing is there. You should be passionate, you should be consistent. That's the only key to get success. Yeah. Do the five. Sir, what would you learn most from the open source program? So, Anjan, for me, the open source makes me follow my passion, that is interacting with people more and more. I love to interact with people. I love to listen to people more. I want to hear their problems. I want to talk about their failures. So Git give me that flexibility that somebody has gone through this path, and I also want to check it that what was the challenges they faced during this path, so that I cannot commit that mistake again. We all don't have the time to repeat our mistakes. We definitely don't have the time to repeat the mistakes. So it's better to learn from others' mistake and be successful. Simple. Being a coding enthusiast, what pathway has to be followed for a third year student to get into a good IT company? This Subhoshri, a great question though, but what is the definition of your good IT company? For me, the good IT company is like who is offering you a package of 5,000. So what is the definition for you? And secondly, if you are a coding enthusiast, I would say work on the DSA more and more. Focus on one language and DSA. That's all. Don't run behind all the languages that you want to learn. No, one language is more than enough. And DSA, make your DSA so strong. That's all. When we talk about the placement, everybody say do DSA only. No, and one or two good projects are enough. Is it totally correct? Do only DSA is not correct. Do DSA is correct. One or two projects is good. I would say one project would be also good, but it need to be get deployed. Reason being, if you have deployed that project and you include that hyperlink in your resume, make a good virtual, or I should say, what did you say, digital resume. That will going to create a good project. Reason being, one good project, I'll click on that link. If that perfectly working, I can see the things that you have implemented. Challenge is solved. Yeah. So even one project is also good. Sir, I feel demotivated by not able to solve the problem. Can you provide me some solution to it? Don't get disheartened. Challenges is with everyone. Everybody is not able to solve the problems. They are not telling you. So why you are also telling someone? Say that yes, I did it. Whether if it has taken 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 attempts. Who is asking you to tell that this is the time that I have taken? Nobody's asking you. So just be open on that part. Don't tell anyone that, hey, I have taken 50 attempts to solve this problem. No, do it. Just don't leave that problem until it is solved. So, yeah. So can you please name the website that you mentioned now where we can learn free and know about open source project? Rosie, can you please reach out to me on LinkedIn? I'll share you a couple of links that you can go and start learning. The two major websites for beginners I just talked about is upforgrabs.net and issueshub.io. So yeah, those you can always reach out to. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So we are running a short of time, as we know your time is very valuable, and we are very we are very thankful to you that we have got your time and you have explained so beautifully. Now I would like to
So,
request Chirag for the concluding this session.
so before you conclude, sorry, I want to address one
Yes.
more point which was there in my mind and which is very important for everybody to understand. Certification. Many people reach out to me with this request that, hey, I want to do this certificate, that certificate, XYZ. Guys, it's not about certifications. Never and ever run behind the certification. Yes, certifications are important, but I would recommend, strongly recommend, do the certification in seventh or eighth semester because that is going to create the best impact for you. Till then, sharpen your X with your learnings. Start contributing to open source project that is not going to charge you anything. Don't run behind the expensive certifications. Certifications are important, but before that, skills are way more important. So sharpen your skills first and then go and run behind the certifications. Also, the open source give you this flexibility that yes, you can do anything for free of use them up. There are a lot of programs which are available on Coursera, Cloudera, many other places. Go and explore them. Try to create the clone of existing application. Once you have done that, and I guess that would easily solve a lot of challenges for you. Yeah. With that take, before Chirag steal the time away, I just want to say you all that people who are wondering that there are challenges for you, you know, the shipman, the person who is sailing the ship, he doesn't have a control on winds. It doesn't have a control on winds, and we cannot direct the winds. Means we are not, definitely not the god, right? That you can say is disha mein hawa baho ya is disha mein hawa baho. No, you know what that shipman or salesman does? He adjusts the sails. So when problem is trying to hit you, you have a two option: leave the road, problem will bypass, or else tackle it, solve it. So choice is all yours. So definitely you cannot direct the winds, but you can always adjust the sail. So that was my messages to all the leaders, winners, and achiever. If I'm not right, if I was not able to answer your question, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Twitter. Give me some time to revert back, but definitely you will receive a revert back from me, that I can assure you. So with that, over to you back, Chirag. Thank you so much for having me. The entire very strict order of conversation. I hope I have made some sense to your mind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gaurav sir. It had been an amazing session. We are really grateful for having you in this session. Like the way in which you cleared the doubts and answered the questions, it gave us a lot of energy and motivation. So once again, thank you, sir. And last but not the least, thank you so much for being such an amazing audience. You guys were really interactive and attentive. So that's all for today. Thank you so much and have a good evening.
Thank you, Chirag. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.